that lovely? I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome to the stage Miss Maddie Thomas.
Hi everyone. My name is Maddie Topliff, like Linda said, and I was an international thespian and state thespian officer before graduating Grinnell High School in 2017. Troop 4274. But more importantly, I was one of Mr. Hunter's theater kids. Now, as an adult, kind of, I am honored to be able to help induct one of the best people I know into the Iowa Thespian Hall of Fame. As you know, every year, Iowa Thespians welcomes a new class of state thespian officers. Many moons ago, Mr. Hunter served on the student board as a high schooler and has served on the adult board for many years as an educator and as treasurer. In addition to keeping Iowa Thespians' cash money accounted for all year long, he also looked after the physical and emotional well-being of student board officers, helped Grinnell students get elected to the student board, ran Tech Challenge, and helped with Silent Auction at Festival, and chaperoned his high school. Not to mention that all of these duties were additional to his day job of teaching high school math, including AP Calculus, which requires a completely different skill set. Mr. Hunter dedicated every other spare moment he had to his own troop, 4274, directing at least one main stage production every year and overseeing the school's curtain club and thespian officer board. When he wasn't directing, he was technical directing, or running lights and sound for the band required concerts on his free nights. A normal day for Mr. Hunter would be walking from his house to GHS, teaching all day, chaperoning the curtain club, popping open a root beer, this is really important, going to rehearsal, and then grading exams at some point. Plus, he did all of this while being a good human all day. I don't know about you, but being a good human 24/7 is emotionally exhausting on its own. I'm already tired, and it's not even 10 a.m. As someone who went to college at a school with a very prevalent theater department, I can tell you that I've heard many students recount their experiences growing up in toxic theater departments that disregarded the humans behind the character or headset. But Mr. Hunter has always been a nurturer of humans in his care. He is a generous leader who went into teaching to empower students, not to exude his authority over them. In conversations, he is never the first to speak, always taking a thoughtful pause to make sure he says the right thing instead of something rash. While a man of fewer words, he is also a man of many selfless acts, dedicating 15 years to the school he himself graduated from. Regardless of whether you know Mr. Hunter personally or not, you, the people in this room, are a very lucky group. You may be the last group of high school theater students that will directly benefit from Mr. Hunter's theater legacy. At the end of last school year, Mr. Hunter made the tough decision to leave Grinnell High School in order to pursue his PhD, one of his most self-serving decisions in years. And to get a tad personal, I feel so thankful that I get to share the stage with him one more time today before this chapter of his life comes to a close. While he may thought he could have stepped away without anyone noticing, he has not succeeded this time. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to the newest Iowa Thespian Hall of Fame inductee, Michael Hunter.
Thank you, Maddie. And I have to thank all of my colleagues at Grinnell High School, but especially the fine arts faculty. I have to thank my family, who unfortunately could not be here today. I have to thank, of course, my wonderful students, without whom I would not have done this over the years. And, of course, my dear friend and my best colleague, Liz Hansen, without whom I would not be here at all, in a very real sense. So, as Maddie said, this might be the last time that I'm ever on this stage in front of all of you. The first time that I was on this stage, it was the late 90s, and I was running for state board as a junior. We had to give speeches to everybody, and then everybody voted back then. I gave a truly disastrous speech. Yeah, you remember. It's a miracle that I didn't pass out, I think. The only reason that I got on the board that year was because they took everyone. But I remember, I kept coming back as a student and as a volunteer, as a troop director, and as an exec board member. So the question that I have to ask myself is, why thespians? So first, thespians teaches us speech. In the next month, I will give 3 different presentations to 3 different computer science grad students and professors, groups of them, over different computer science research topics. In the past, I've had argued with my bosses over working conditions and teacher pay. I've questioned angry parents at school board meetings. I've spoken at graduation. I've had to talk to students, or rather, I've gotten to talk to students who were fighting panic attacks or who were mired in depression. I got to toast my sister at her wedding. I did not imagine when I was younger that I would have all these opportunities to speak on these things that I care deeply about. So I still get nervous every time, but Thespians teaches us to speak boldly. Second, Thespians teaches us teamwork. I learned how to be the president of our teachers union from directing plays. I learned how to do group work in college through putting together individual events in high school. I learned how to collaborate by watching my fellow directors, my actors, the fellow technicians. Every member of every family that we made for every play we were in taught me how to be a little bit better as a worker, as an actor, and as a person. So Thespians teaches us to work as and to care deeply about our team. Third, and perhaps most importantly, Thespians teaches us change. Every show closes, even Phantom of the Opera eventually. Every scene changes, every line is delivered and is subsequently lost in the pressing tide of the next speech, the next act, the next opening. Every student who walks on a stage anywhere becomes a different person. With the right help, they can become a better person. Thespians teaches us that change is inevitable and that guided change is good. So as Maddie said, last spring I left teaching. Well, that's a lie, I'm still teaching, I'm just at ISU. I started working toward my PhD in computer science. So why did I leave? I had amazing students and I had a wonderful group of fine arts colleagues. I liked my school and my community. However, I sensed that my scene was done and that it was time for the crew to spin the set around and for a new group of actors to take the stage. Exit stage left, chasing thoughts of what if. But I carry with me speech and teamwork and an understanding of change. That sounds like a political slogan, and it kind of is. You can use these tools to make your workplace better, to run for office, to just convince one relative to be a little bit less racist at Thanksgiving. The world is always changing, as we have seen recently. And if you are not calling the cues, then someone else is. So put on your headset, wear your blacks, get into costume and makeup, speak out, work together, and change this world for the better. It's what we do. Thank you.